The question didn't stumble or hesitate. It arrived with a calmness that felt rehearsed, like she'd been carrying it on her tongue for weeks, waiting for the right moment. "Daniel," my wife Claire said as she gently set her wine glass on the table, "I want to spend a night with another man." The words ripped through the soft hum of our Friday dinner. My fork, mid-air with a piece of steak, froze as though time had stopped. For a second, I thought I'd misheard her, that the background music or the clatter of silverware had warped her voice. But when I looked at her, her eyes were steady, searching mine for a reaction. I gave her none. Inside, my chest was tearing open. Outside, I was a statue. The silence between us grew heavier. Claire and I had been married for 9 years. We weren't perfect, but we'd built a life, our little house, our routines, the easy laughter that used to flow between us. But lately, there had been cracks. Late nights out with friends that stretched past midnight. Her phone always flipped screen down. Hugs that felt like polite obligations rather than the desperate clinging that once told me I was her everything. I'd ignored the signs, telling myself all marriages go through seasons. We'd find our way back. But in a single sentence, she'd confirmed what my gut had been whispering for months. There was someone else. Her request wasn't about curiosity. It wasn't a fantasy. It was him. I lowered my fork to the plate. "You want a night with another man?" I repeated slowly, each word bitter in my mouth. She nodded, twisting the stem of her wine glass. I need to explore this side of myself, Daniel. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It means I'm not enough," I finished quietly. She flinched but didn't argue. In that moment, I could have shouted, begged, thrown accusations. But I didn't. Maybe it was shock. Maybe it was the exhaustion of years spent swallowing doubts, trying to keep the peace. Instead, something cold and deliberate settled inside me. I leaned back in my chair. "You have 2 choices, Claire." Her eyes widened. She hadn't expected this. "Choice 1, I said evenly. "You let go of this idea, of him, of whatever you've been imagining. You come clean completely, and we try to rebuild. It won't be easy, but if you're willing, maybe we can find our way back." "And the second choice," she whispered. I didn't look away. "You go through with it. But if you do, don't bother coming back. If you walk out that door to another man, you'll find it locked when you return. You won't be my wife anymore." Her lips parted, breath shallow. She had come seeking permission for betrayal. Instead, I handed her a mirror, forcing her to face the cost. We finished dinner in silence. My fork scraped the plate. She refilled her glass twice. I didn't demand an answer. I wanted her to sit with the weight of what she'd unleashed. That night in bed, we lay far apart. Her breathing was restless. Mine was hollow. I stared at the ceiling, counting the hours, wondering what she was thinking, wondering if even then she was picturing his hands instead of mine. At 2 in the morning, she whispered, "You're so calm. I thought you'd scream." I turned toward her silhouette in the dark. "Screaming won't change the truth. You've already been slipping away. I just didn't want to see it." Her silence was an answer. 2 days passed. She was quieter, distant, her thumb hovering over her phone when she thought I wasn't watching. On the 3rd night, she finally spoke. "His name is Ryan. He's from work." I nodded. Hearing it aloud cut deeper than all my suspicions. "He makes me feel alive again," she murmured. "Like I'm seen. Desired. I don't want to hurt you, Daniel, but..." Her words trailed off, but she didn't have to finish. The truth had already landed between us like broken glass. Her words hit harder than any slap. Alive. Desired. As though the years I'd spent loving her, standing by her, holding our life together had somehow become invisible. I kept my face calm, my voice steady. "So, you've made your choice," I said. She shook her head quickly, panic in her eyes. "I don't know yet. I'm just confused." "No," I said softly, evenly. "You're not confused. You just don't want to face the reality of what you already want." That was the moment I knew something had cracked. That Friday, she came home late. She smelled different. New perfume, foreign to me. She couldn't look at me straight. My gut twisted. We ate dinner in silence, and finally she said, Daniel, I need that night. Just once. I need to know what I really feel. It felt like my heart splintered. And if, after that night, you realize you want him more. She turned away. Said nothing. That silence was louder than anything she could have said. I stood up, walked to the bedroom, and pulled a small suitcase from the closet. I set it on the bed and unzipped it. Her eyes went wide. Daniel, what are you doing? You've made your choice, I said coldly, folding her clothes one by one. You can have your night. But you don't come back here afterward. If you're willing to gamble with us, then this marriage is already over. Her hands trembled as she grabbed at the suitcase. You can't just. Yes, I can. My voice was sharp, final. I will not be an option, Claire. I will not share my wife. She didn't leave that night. She cried, begged, pleaded, swore I was overreacting, promised it was just one night, just curiosity, that she still loved me. But love doesn't ask permission to betray. The next morning, I told her I had already contacted a lawyer and that divorce papers would be ready within the week. She stared at me as if I was someone she didn't know. You'd throw away 9 years just like that. I gave a bitter laugh. No, Claire. You did that the moment you asked me to bless your betrayal. Weeks passed. Friends told me Ryan hadn't stayed. After all she risked, after all the tears, he walked away the moment things got complicated. He didn't want a woman tied to divorce papers, a woman with a life she'd blown up. One night, Claire called me, her voice raw and broken. Daniel, I made a mistake. Please, can we talk? I closed my eyes, gripping the phone until my hand ached. Part of me wanted to say yes, to let her back in, to hear her laugh again. But the deeper part, the part she had torn open, whispered the truth. Some things can't be undone, I said quietly. I gave you 2 choices. You made yours. Her sobs crackled through the line before I ended the call. It's been a year now. The divorce is final. I still live in the house that once rang with our laughter. Some nights the silence feels unbearable. Some mornings I still turn toward her side of the bed before I remember she's gone. But I don't regret the decision I made. Because in the end, it wasn't me who broke us. It was her longing for something else, something she thought would make her feel more alive. What I do regret is this, that I loved a woman who could look me in the eye and ask me to bless her betrayal. And when I gave her 2 paths, she chose the one that led to the end.